Welcome into another episode of Just Another Podcast, hosted by yours truly, Just Another Chris. And boy, oh boy, do we have a special episode today. I sit down and chat with the one and only Noah from Analog Resurgence, OG YouTuber, film photographer, a lot of motion picture photography. Really cool channel. I've been following him for many years, so it was quite the honor to sit down and have a conversation with him. We talk about instant photography, we talk about film photography, like how to get started. We even talk about some pack film stuff, like him working with one instant and possibly even an exclusive he hasn't shared anywhere else. And that is the Kodak Super 8 camera, the infamous one that's been rumored, it's been announced, it's been taken away, the price being driven up all the way to $6,000. Yes, he got to try one a few years ago. He was under NDA, but now he's not under NDA. So we talk about that and a lot more. So sit on back and enjoy episode 14 of Just Another Podcast. Noah, dude, what's up, man? How's it going?
Not much. It's good. It's nice to meet you, man.
How is it out there in the lands of Toronto?
Weird. It was like 7 degrees Celsius, which I don't know the conversion to Fahrenheit off the top of my head.
I don't know.
Today is colder. Today I woke up and there was like this much snow on the ground.
Wow.
And it'll be gone tomorrow though. So.
Dang. I've been following your channel for a while. Well, basically when I first got into like the film world, like you're one of the first channels I even like discovered and was getting educated, getting schooled by the master. Been around a while. And what I'm really kicking myself is I was out in Toronto this year and I was on a plane heading home and I'm like, why the heck didn't I at least message Noah and see about maybe meeting up or something? Kick myself for that. Why don't you talk about a little of where you started on your YouTube film journey?
When was 2018? 5 years ago? It's been half a decade now. Which it makes this the most consistent long-term project of my entire life. And now it's like I was in my mid-20s when I started this, and I am next year I'll be 30, so that's a lot to think about.
Dang.
It was at the time when I started it was something to fill just time that I had after I had like I was unemployed or like had left a job that I had been at for a little bit to kind of try to do more video film related stuff. And so I was just like, okay, I'll give myself some stuff to do in the meantime while I'm looking for, work. And I was like, oh, I could probably make specifically at the time Super 8 focused videos where I was like, I could probably do some videos that break down Super 8 film a little bit better than maybe there are on YouTube. And then from there I was like, well, how can I kind of build this into something that allows me to kind of keep doing it? And so I was like, well, how about as well as Super 8, I would try to do videos on everything else as well. And so that's where kind of I'm at now, because it'll be like a mix of like photo stuff, for like stills for like 35 and medium format and large format, and then also sometimes some darkroom stuff, motion picture stuff for like 16 and Super 8, and then like instant film stuff. So yeah, I was like, let's just do a little bit of everything and see how long I can not go broke for. And the answer has been so far 5 years.
Hey, you're going strong. That's incredible. It's funny that because I've been doing YouTube for quite a while, mostly behind the scenes for other businesses or content creators or things. And I had like a personal channel where I just kind of throw up random junk, awful things. I was getting tens of views. It was great. And then in 2018, I picked up an Instax mini camera. I'm like, this is really fun. I did a video about it and it got hundreds of views. I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
I'm onto something, but I didn't really like fully commit to it and kind of just went about my way. But it's kind of funny that the same year, like when you started, I was kind of starting my own journey into film as well, but more casual. And then in 2020, that's when I really just dove into the film world and found your channel like late at night. It was like 2 a.m. Wasn't feeling very good, so I was just up all night and just like watching YouTube videos. I found yours, and then I was like, I want to do more film stuff, and I landed on pack film, and I was getting so excited. I'm like, this is like the perfect thing ever. And so I went down this rabbit hole watching your stuff, and it led me to other people. And then of course I got just after like 2 hours of like getting excited and looking up cameras to buy, the news was broken to me in the hardest way possible. It doesn't exist anymore. That's how I found out about it.
Yeah, pack film stuff is like I did like a series of videos a few years ago with my friend Alex, and we went through like pack film stuff where we were like, this is like the Polaroid instant, like the roll film, like the old stuff.
Yeah.
And like, we shot some of that pretty surprisingly, and some of like the black and white stuff worked. And then it was like, then this was like the Polaroid pack film, and then the Fuji stuff. And also you can't get any of it really easily anymore, but it's great. Look at how much fun we're having using it. Don't try to do this yourself because it's so expensive. So the pack film stuff is like, I love doing some pack film videos and stuff. And they're also easy because I can be like, shoot this, and then I have the results right now. I don't have to wait for a lab to develop and do stuff and get stuff back or whatever. But then I'm also like, it is just like, I can't recommend people buy pack film like at for like any of it because it's so expensive. And like, I'm only able to do it because of like stuff that I've picked up over the years, and also the incredible generosity of like some people. And so I've just like come into some pack film and things over the years, and I can be like, this is how it works, and these are some of the weird cameras that you can use for it, but it's also stay away from it.
Right. Yeah, we're like one of the lucky few that we're in we have the opportunity to have fun, right? And we have this platform to where we're allowed to like show it off. Like, we're the guinea pigs, or we're the ones doing the testings and stuff, and it leads to like like what you were saying, how the generosity of others will like send us stuff to show the rest of the world, and we're the lucky. That's one of the perks that we get to experience. Because I've had a couple people send me some packs of FP100C a couple times, and that was like absolutely insane. I'm like, wow, this is so cool. So I've been able to shoot a little bit of it. I have one box left. I'm holding out to try and shoot it on the Goose. I want to try and shoot it, or something outside of just like the. I'm using the 250
like the pack film, whatever.
The 250 is what I want to experience that on like a actual glass lens and like something proper.
Like the 600 SE, like the Goose is good. Throw it on like a 4x5 camera if you got the back, or like it's hard because there's a lot of kind of like obscure or like weird cameras for the pack film stuff where you're like, that'd be cool to shoot. And like, I did a video like a couple years ago that was the big shot, like the portrait camera. And I think forever I had been like, I'm never really going to bother with that because it's like, it's so, the amount of pack film that I have is probably finite, and what am I going to shell out like $150 for like one of those cameras? But I just kind of like lucked into one really cheap and like had a pack where I was like, oh, this is worth it. And like, that was really fun to like put it through that and stuff. So, but yeah, some of that stuff looks great on the shelf, but I'm like, I might use it once more in my life, or some of this stuff I'm like, it's probably been, it's done.
Right. I'm actually working on a video. It's a pack film one. It's kind of crazy because I've shot one pack across like around the country. It just kind of worked out that way. And I've been trying to put it in the hands of people that have never shot it before. So this pack is like gone through like 3 or 4 different people that's been shooting. Like one was in Florida, one was in Ohio, one was in California. You know, it's like all these people, because they're like, what is this? They've always wanted to see it. They've always wanted to try it. And and I made a huge mistake on one of them, and it was, I forgot to connect the battery to the 250, because I disconnected it when I was traveling and forgot, so I wasted a shot. So that was sad. But I really want to try and get some people to try it, because it's pretty much never ever coming back, sadly.
Have you done any of the like the One Instant project, like the people working to do like new pack film and stuff?
So I discovered that, I think it was from your video. You were talking about it, and I was super interested, but I just couldn't get over the price. And then the at the time it was like, you weren't really guaranteed a photo in the first place. So I was like, oh gosh, I want to try it. Maybe I'll do a video, just the cost of doing a video, but I never ended up doing it. And then they raised the price of it. And it just kind of fell off. I was like, no, maybe if they want to send me something one day, I'll try it. But, no, it's cool. I think what they're doing is awesome. It's also kind of sad that eventually that'll go away, because they're using old stock. As far as I know.
Yeah, the color stuff. So my thing with the One Instant project, because I did those videos a few years back where I was like, let's go through, early Polaroid to the Fuji stuff, and kind of like track it all and be like, this is pack film and why people love it. And then it got to the One Instant stuff, and I was like, okay, this is the logical next step. That was kind of early, like the same year that they had like started that project, I think. And so I reached out to them and asked for some film, because I was like, hey, I'm doing this thing over here. And they were really nice. Like, they talked to me about the project and sent me some boxes of it, and we shot it, and it was such a rough experience trying to, like, especially coming off of like, we were shooting like 30-year-old Polaroid film that had been in a freezer and was coming out beautifully, and we were shooting like 5-10-year-old Fuji stuff that had just been like laying around, and it was coming out incredibly. And then the One Instant stuff, it was just like, it was rough, and it was really like, just we had some that were complete like misfires or like fell apart and everything, and I'm like, like, especially with the cost and everything, and like what it is, it was hard to really have like a lot of things that I really liked about the project. And so I put out the video, and I was essentially like, it's a passion project, which is great, but also that's kind of limiting, and these are the results, and this is like the very real experience that I had with it. I didn't pay for the stuff that I shot. I was like, it was given to me by the people that are doing the project and stuff, and then like I put out that video, and the One Instant guys never really talked to me again.
Yeah, I know how that goes. I've
Which
pissed
is
off.
fine, Yeah. And I was like, I thought I like, I was like, here are the good and the bad with it. And like, I gotta be honest with this stuff, because like, exactly. I get it, but it was like, okay. I will say, for One Instant, I have shot a little bit, and it never made it into a video. And I do have some still, because an individual, there's a very, very generous, like, supporter of the channel, has been kind of like with the channel for like years and years, nice. Who's like out of Canada, but like he, every once in a while, a box will show up with just some like stuff in it, and he awesome. Sent me some of the One Instant black and white stuff. And to One Instant's like credit, I think the black and white stuff isn't bad, and I've seen some consistent stuff with it. I've shot a little bit of it, and I believe that it contains materials that they are producing, not themselves, but along, like, with somebody or something. So I think the black and white is the best bet of like they should probably just like forget about the color stuff, just forget about it, and just focus on the black and white, and just that might kind of like, you know, evolve into something. So
Yeah.
the black and white is nicer than the color stuff.
Nice. Maybe I'll have to look into that. Partly why I subscribed to your channel was because of your transparency and how, you know, the honesty the part of it was. But seeing your video on their film, it was like, I'm like, oh, this is really exciting, but you were showing the good and the bad. I'm like, and that's kind of what discouraged me from even purchasing it. So I get why they're like, yeah, well, that didn't work out for us. And I've done that, and like, I don't know how much you know or seen, but Polaroid doesn't like me like at all.
Did you piss off Polaroid themselves?
Yeah.
I don't think I've never had any direct interaction with Polaroid themselves. But yeah, I've never really tried to engage with Polaroid themselves over anything ever. I've pretty much just been, and it's, you know what, it's been a while even since I've done like a standard Polaroid focused video, that because it's like, it's kind of become like, this is pack film because it's a much more unique kind of thing to focus on. And I've never bought any of like the Now or the Plus or the Go or any of their cameras, because I've always just like had, you know, old school, you know, SX70 600s and stuff kicking around.
Yeah.
It's never been enough of like a priority to be like, oh, I should pick one of those up and do like a dedicated video to it, because I was like, I've seen people do them and like just do good jobs with them already. So I was like, you know, like pack film is much more of like a niche that I can like jump into and have stuff ready to go for. So I'm like, other people can do the Polaroid stuff and fight with Polaroid.
Oh yeah, they don't like me like at all. Yeah. So I mean, in 2024, I've already kind of told people this, but like, well, first of all, Polaroid is my favorite like medium to shoot. It's really fun. I really enjoy it. The camera's experience of it when it works. I've been having massive problems with their film over the last several months. And it's not just me. A lot of people are having problems. This doesn't work. Like, it doesn't spread. It just has weird QC issues. So in 2024, I'm going to lean off of Polaroid and start doing like Instax content, as well as 35 and 120, kind of get into that world. I do it casually, but it takes up, the Polaroids takes up most of my expense because it's so expensive. So I'm kind of like re-gauging some things, moving some funds around to get more involved in that stuff, because I really do enjoy it, shooting like 35, and I'm going to learn how to, like, in theory I know how, I've just never done it, but develop my own film. I've seen enough. I've seen you. I've seen Sweet Lou.
It's great. It's like,
do it, and so I'm like, I could do this. Not that you're not good at it. I'm just saying. I know
everybody
enough.
can. Just aim to do it better than me. You know, like I do it well, but I'm also just like I can kind of make the excuse that like I've been doing it enough and like know it well enough that like when I go to develop and stuff, it can just be pretty chaotic and like disorganized, and like I know what's going on, but you know, I'm just like, yeah, this is good, this is fine, we'll do it for this time, this ratio, great. But yeah, especially like black and white is primarily what I do. Color I'll do pretty rarely, just because like I'm less likely to be shooting a lot of color, you know, and so it's more like, oh, I shot a roll over the course of this month and I'll take it into the lab, you know, as opposed to being like, I shot like a dozen rolls of color this month and I can like develop them all together within like the course of like a week or two. So I'm usually still take stuff like color stuff to a lab. And like there's a lot of choices in Toronto for labs and stuff, which is awesome. But yeah, black and white is so easy to get into and like have just like the stuff that you need to do it, that, you know, I'm just like, this is awesome to develop and do black and white at home.
Yeah. I want to get into that. Do you know a company called 20th Century Camera by chance?
Yes, I'm pretty sure I follow them on Instagram.
Okay.
Yes.
So he's local to me. and we met. Actually, that's where I got my pack film camera, my 250. A friend of mine referred me to this person. He's like, hey, I've known this person my whole life. He's really cool. Anyway, so we met up, and then I went to his shop, and he was like showing me all the stuff, and we were partnering up on some Kickstarter programs for like at home developing a tool. It was really cool. It was an automated system where you just put this thing on top of your Patterson tank.
Yes, I do. I do know the
Sweet.
20th century stuff. Yeah.
And it was awesome. I filmed it. We have it ready. But then he was going to get back to me, and then the shop burned down.
I remember that. That was that earlier this year? Yeah, that was like back in like end of last year, maybe. I remember those posts.
Yeah, he has cancer too. He's been fighting that for the last like year. He's had it rough. And I've messaged him a couple times. I haven't heard back, but technically I'm an admin of the Facebook page. we were like really going hard and partnering up. I was like super excited. He's a really cool guy. But I don't even know if he's doing much anymore. But I really wanted to get that. He was calling it the swizzle stick. But it was just like this thing that put on the top of your Patterson tank, and you pushed a button, and then that was it. You'd walk away.
I remember seeing some stuff for that, or where it's like a thing, and it just does the agitations on the tank, right?
Yeah. You just walk away, and it just kind of does it all for you. It was super cool. He had a prototype already made and everything. And then of course his main bread and butter is those reels for the tanks for loading. But yeah, I should probably try and reach out to him again. I haven't talked to him a little bit.
That sucks.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but he also built like his own cameras, like 4x5 cameras, which is neat. Going back a little bit to the topic of pack film, I have a question. I've always wondered.
Okay, great.
So I've seen you did a video on this years ago, but with your pack film, you know how you can save your negative and then use the bleach or whatever to on the backs. Is there a time limit on that? Do you have to do it right away, or is it something that can be done with film that you've just had for a couple of years, just sitting around? Like film, meaning the peeled negative. Yeah,
I know what you mean. I have done it only a few times because, just like I don't like love the results, and usually I hold on to the negative, like hold on to the the negative piece or whatever, with the intention to be like, oh, I'll definitely bleach these.
I got a stack of them, man.
At some point, I got a stack of these. And then eventually I'll just be like, why are these here? I'll throw these out. These are old now. But I did a video. I think I only just did a video on bleaching the negatives like earlier this year.
Was it? Seemed like a
maybe last year. It feels like a while ago, but man, everything feels like a while ago. It like honestly, it was like April or May even, because I bleached some of the negatives from the Passport camera, because I was like, these are kind of cool because it's like portraits of people and it's like the 4 images, and the ones that were like the newest came out the best. And then I had a couple that, I don't know, just like didn't work out very well at all. And it was like, they were just like super dense and just like really weird. So I've never tried to do it with really like ones that I've been holding on to for like months and months. But I think as long as they're stored well, then they're fine. I remember reading, but I mean, like, it's such a weird kind of format as it is. I don't fully know because I just haven't done it enough. But yeah, I always feel bad when I like toss the negative pieces, because I'm like, I could bleach these and then I'd have a negative, and I do the darkroom stuff. But I'm also like, I have the print. I'll just scan the print.
Right. I shot some pack film in October, and I had thought I waited long enough for it to dry, and I noticed, I'm like, oh, there's like a hair on it, so I'm just gonna wipe it off. And so when I did that, the whole picture just started smearing the whole thing. And
like it's easy to like damage them still.
And I'm like, oh, it wasn't fully cured. I thought it was. So I have the negative. I'm like, oh, maybe I could try and bleach it. That way I can at least still get the picture. Because right now it's like really smudgy. It's all like got this like warp and waving look to it. I'm like, oh, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's weird. That stuff is weird.
Last little thing on pack film. Do you follow Tested, Adam Savage's YouTube channel at all?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, like I don't watch it like religiously, but I've like picked through his videos and stuff.
So I like props. They're pretty fun. As you can see, I got freaking Captain America shield behind me. Props are fun. And there's a TikToker, Props to History. I don't know if you know, I've ever seen him pop up, but he is in charge of like going through like this prop house for printing for Hollywood for like, they've been doing it for like well over 100 years or something like that. Like everything that's ever been in movies pretty much came through this one like warehouse basically where they printed paper props or whatever. Anyway, all this to say is they were able to recreate this like ID badge from Blade Runner with the exact materials and everything from the movie. It's like the first like real like most authentic prop from ever created, and the image is a Polaroid image, and so they're like using the Polaroid lab to create this like ID badge of Harrison Ford. But I'm like, you know what? I don't think they're right. I don't think that's it at all, because they're forgetting because they're using Photoshop to create the headshots basically on there, and they have 4 images per Polaroid to put on there. I'm like, I'm 99.999% sure that back in the day, these people are forgetting that there was other types of Polaroid out there, aka pack film, and there is a camera that's specifically for making ID cards, and it was probably used for the prop, because there's no way to scale a Polaroid image, like, because you'd have to like you're the scaling, you have to like get close or back away. But that's the only way you could technically do it and then cut it. But on a Polaroid, as you know, the further away you get, it's just falls off. Like even with a SX70 camera, like that detail isn't quite there. So I'm like,
I think probably was pack film.
I've been wanting to do a video talking about it. And then I'm passionate about it right now because I was watching something on Disney Plus the other day, and another situation like this came up. I'm like, I need to make this a series, because literally the most probably famous shot in cinema history is maybe not the one, but like the top 5. Maybe number.
It's such a bold claim.
I know. But honestly, it's probably one of the most iconic. Let's just say that. But it's the shot of the Millennium Falcon. You know, the stars going into warp drive, whatever, and it clicks and shows the Millennium Falcon just jetting off into hyperspace. Yeah. They're in this documentary I'm watching on ILM, and it's the people that are describing how they made the movies and whatnot. Apparently, that shot of Millennium Falcon is just being like zooming off. He said it's a Polaroid. It's a Polaroid image that they cut because they couldn't get the scale right with a model to go that far and like shrink down to nothingness. And they're like, but then he says, we took a 4x5 Polaroid of it and just cut it out and put it there and shot it, and everything's good. So like one of the most iconic shots is a Polaroid image. But they're showing the demonstration of how they did it, but they're again using a standard like modern day Polaroid. I'm like, he did say 4x5, and then in the next shot, you can see that there's pack film like on the wall, like of images, not of the Millennium Falcon, but just of like around their shop. I'm pretty sure it was freaking pack film. They got it wrong for the demonstration again. So I'm like, I make a video.
Yeah, it would have been like the large format Polaroid stuff at the time. Which because like you could throw that onto like real cameras and do like proper exposure with like real lenses and stuff, and it looked really good. So it's like what they would have used.
It's kind of funny because like you go watch it and it's literally a cutout of the back of the Millennium Falcon, and they said they taped it to a piece of glass and then put it on a dolly and just ran it down as far as they could go, and it would just shrink down to where you can't see it anymore. Just a picture.
The ILM stuff is great because, like, you know, it was just like a bunch of random people, and Lucas was like, yeah, see what you can make. This is the movie, this is what I need done. And they were just like, all right, cool, we'll just like screw around and see what we can do and stuff. And it's all like rotoscoping and optical printers and, you know, stuff like building on like stuff that had been done to some extent, but then, you know, just like
it was, if you haven't
seeing what they could accomplish.
The documentary, it's I can't remember what it's called. It's a 6-part series.
Yeah, the Disney. I've been meaning to watch it, but I haven't checked it out yet.
It's kind of nuts, especially for like a nerd like me. I love behind the scenes, how stuff is made, you know. And I absolutely despise 90%, 95% of what the behind the scenes you get to see of movies these days. It's just giant promotional stuff of the actors talking about, we did this and that. It's stupid.
Very different. Yeah.
It's awful. But this is the actual people that literally did everything and talking about how they did it. And it is crazy, some of the stuff that they did and how casual they are about talking about it. So they're like, yeah, George wanted to do this and this. And we said, oh, well, that's not possible. And kind of like what you said, he's like, well, yeah, see what you can do. And they're like, yeah, so we invented this thing. And it's like a giant room with like, to be able to like, I can't remember what it's called, but it's like, it could project like 5 different images onto one, like, you know, piece of film for editing. And so it takes up a whole room. And they just literally invented the technology to do it. And they're like, yeah, it's cool. Like,
yeah,
what?
they're old school optical printers that, like, the optical printers, the machines that, you know, they use, they kind of took existing optical printers and did modifications and just like push those things to the limits, right? And would do, you could do what's called bypacking in optical printers, where, you know, you load up like your so you've got like your image with like your Millennium Falcon, your model shot, and it has the background removed, so it's just like transparent. You got the model, and then you have like your star backdrop or whatever, and you like put them together, you load them together in the printer, and then just light. It's just light shooting through that and exposing those 2 images onto unexposed film in the camera at the other end. And they're crazy. I work at an artist center here in Toronto called Lift, which is the Liaison of Independent Filmmakers of Toronto. And we do like rental, like equipment rentals and facility rentals and like workshops and stuff like that. But we have an Oxbury 1700 optical printer, which is this big ominous machine in a room that is like a really bright lamp at one end, and then area where you can like thread up like developed, film with like your images on it, and then like a camera unit at the other end. And so when you give tours and you show people that room, and they're just like, what is it? And you're just like, you know, Star Wars, this is what they would have used to do certain effects in a movie like Star Wars. So I've seen one. I've turned one on and pushed some buttons and stuff. That's I've seen people do work with them, and they're incredible. And like a really kind of like long-term, very loose idea is to do something that kind of walks through the very basic steps of some of the effects that were done in things like Star Wars at the time, in very broad strokes, and like recreate like a very minuscule, like a 4-second essentially like something. But and like there's lots of like old books and like literature and stuff on those processes, and like the ILM, like the documentary and stuff, where they're like breaking it down and talking about how it's done, and it's like, it's possible, it's just and there's ways to do it in ways where you kind of like really dumb it down and don't use like a machine quite as specialized as that. But it becomes tricky with film because you need certain types of like
Yeah.
print stock and stuff and things that technically Kodak still manufactures. So all of this stuff is kind of out there. It's just very specialized and very, very expensive. And you at that scale, you would be working in 35 millimeter. Like you couldn't, I
Yeah.
was like, could I do this on 16 and for kind of on the cheap? And I was like, no, I could not. So someday maybe I'll
Yeah.
write a grant for that because I would just need like $15,000 to be like, I can recreate 5 seconds of a
Of Star
spaceship
Wars.
of Star Wars. Yeah. But
That'd be-
it's crazy. That's like a big kind of thought of just like there's
Yeah.
ways to do it, and I shockingly have access to, like very very rare kind of resources.
Cutting edge technology of the day. That's super cool.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
If you haven't, if you people listening and even if you haven't checked out the ILM doc, it's really good. I still have like 2 episodes left, I think, but it's quite interesting. And it's not just
Yeah.
about Star Wars too. They just start there because that's where they kind of got their start, was on the movie.
Yeah,
they,
right.
They go
It
through
goes
some of the
to,
other
like-
ones. Hey, real quick, I wanted to remind you guys about the members area. Yeah, there are some amazing perks by becoming a member of the Spitfire Club, such as extended versions of Just Another Podcast, and extended versions of YouTube videos, and early access to said YouTube videos, and exclusive monthly signed photos sent to your door, and access to the members' exclusive Spitfire Club t-shirt. But that's not all. There is now an exclusive members-only Zoom call. Yeah, we have our club meeting. We sit down, we chat, we talk about things that we're into, things that we're struggling with, things we want to improve, and special guest appearances from other like-minded content creators. Ugh, it's so much fun. If you want to become a member today, there is a link in the description below. I'll see you in there. There are some audience/fan questions.
All right, great.
Let's take a quick look and see what we got. We've got Aim, Shoot, Develop. He's actually going to be on a future podcast coming up. Not sure when. I think it's next year or in January. But
sick. Yeah.
he says, how does the new Kodak Super 8 optically stack up to against the vintage Super 8 cameras? We're lucky that thing exists.
Okay. So, yeah, I haven't done a video or anything on Kodak talking about the camera now that they're like, oh, it's actually it is real. And it's
Is
coming
it
out.
though?
I haven't done anything on that because I'm still like, I just like read a news story and talk about it, and I'm like, I'm gonna hold on to that for a bit and do a video eventually, probably, and maybe I'll try to get my hands on it in a way that doesn't make me pay $6,000. But
Yeah.
the camera, in terms of like the quality of it, because I used one. Now that my NDA is up, last year or whenever, but there was a few years back. I went to Kodak's site and emailed them, and was kind of like, "Hey, what's up? Hi, I'm Noah. Can I?
Yeah.
What's up with the camera?"
Yeah.
Because
What
that
breadcrumbs
was
can you give me?
2016, right? And they were like, the camera was going to be $600, and then a year passed, and they were like, the camera's going to be $1,000, and then the camera's going to be $2,500, and then they're like, actually, we're going to not talk about the camera for a little bit.
Yeah. Let people forget.
So visually, in terms of like the actual quality of the footage that you can get from the camera, it has the potential to be really, really good, because the main thing that sets itself apart from older Super 8 cameras is that it has a C mount lens like mount on it, so you can get just like a wide variety of C mount lenses, which not the most like common lens type now, but I mean a ton of like vintage glass, like Bolex lenses and stuff you can mount on C mount. So that's kind of like a big selling point. I mean, or at least that's what they think is a big selling point.
It's still like
Or
$7,000.
I know.
You can go buy a red
Where they're
camera
like,
for
you
that.
can put a C mount on here. And I mean, from there, you can, get like lens adapters like ARRI mounts to C mount and, stuff like that, like PL mount to C mount, whatever. So there's the potential for you to be able to kind of build that camera like you would build with like, like modern cameras where you can like build on accessories and like have certain lenses on there or adapt certain lenses on there and stuff. That's really like the only kind of like significant thing on that side of it. Beyond that, there's nothing internally that is drastically different. Like there's the side viewfinder, but that's just kind of working like how you have like video assists and video taps on motion picture cameras as it is. Like it's just like it's splitting the light and sending some to like a sensor and you can see it on the screen. But yeah, the big thing between old school ones is that old school ones would just have, like a built-in zoom mount or zoom lens on them. And there are old school Super 8 cameras that did have interchangeable lenses, like the Lycina, like the Leica Super 8 camera that's out there. You could like it takes whatever the Leica mount is, or something like that. So there are options for old school Super 8 cameras that have interchangeable lenses on them. They're just pretty rare and pretty expensive. Probably not like $6,000 expensive, even on like eBay, but they are out there. So, yeah, that is like, but between like the, light coming in through the lens and hitting the film, like there's nothing kind of like that exists in there that's really gonna like drastically increase the quality of like the image that you're gonna get on the Kodak Super 8 camera.
Yeah, because really when it just comes down to the film itself for most of that, I mean the glass definitely helps, don't get me wrong, for sure, but I think really in the end, isn't it just more the film stock that you're putting through it, the type of quality that you'll be able to get?
Like the like 50D, like the 50 daylight color negative stuff from Kodak is like, I think oftentimes looks the best in Super 8. I think all of those stocks look great in Super 8, but it depends on like how much you like the grain and stuff. But 50D, well exposed, lots of light, nice fine grain on Super 8, like on like a quality camera that has like a good either built-in lens or one that you can throw like a proper lens onto, you can get like really, really, really nice looking images on Super 8.
Yeah. I've always wanted to shoot it. Haven't had a chance. So expensive. I got too many other things I gotta focus on.
It is so expensive. and it's hard because people will then make the argument where they're just like, well, Super 8 today is so expensive for the film and the lab and the transfer and stuff that you're not saving much money against Super 8 versus like if you were just to shoot 16, right? But then I'm also like, yeah, but 16, getting into 16 is also like crazy, because then the cameras are, getting like a Bolex or whatever is pretty pricey against like a Super 8 camera and stuff. But yeah, it is, Super 8's really fun, but 16 has more like flexibility and like, just options out there for like how you can work with it.
Yeah, one of these days. Marshall says, not a question, just a big fan of Noah. First photography channel I found. So,
oh, awesome.
There we go. And then we got, most of them are like wanting to know your thoughts on the Kodak. So I'm skipping over a lot of everyone's. Okay. They really wanted to know a lot about that.
I think it is, I don't like, when I talked to them 3 years ago, they were kind of like, it'll come out
one day.
this year, and that was like 2021 or 2020. Yeah, that was 21, and they were kind of like, we're aiming for like a release this year, and they were like, it'll probably be around the price point of like 2,500 or whatever they had last said. So, and then I just didn't hear from them for like, yeah, 2 or 3 years, and then suddenly I got an email like the night before, like they had put a post up on Instagram where they're like, some of the footage that you shot on this music video you made is going to be in the sizzle reel for the camera. Also, the camera's coming out. So I think it's coming out. I do think that it will release, because if you go to B&H Photo, their website right now, you can purchase the battery and the battery charger for the camera, but the camera isn't out just yet. I saw a Facebook post in a Super 8 group where somebody bought the battery and the charger for the camera, and they're like, really excited to have this, really looking forward to the camera in the new year. And I was like, why would you buy the battery and the charger already? I was like, this is absurd.
Does it even come with the battery?
it comes with one battery, but no external charger. And you can buy the external charger, which is micro USB charging.
It's not even C?
It's not USB-C.
What, no. That's free? You're paying this much money and you don't even get it. You don't get these? Like, that is
micro
insane.
USB charger is like $250 or something like that. The Super 8 camera is shipping in is coming in a Pelican case. It, like, you know? And so there are some interesting choices being made about the camera.
Who's going to buy it? That's what I want to know.
That's the thing. I think it's aimed for...
Not for consumers. That's for sure.
Not for consumers. I can see like some, rental houses in like LA and New York and like bigger kind of hubs having some in like a rental rotation, I guess. And it seems... It depends who you are and stuff, but I think it probably has the appeal from... Unfortunately, more of a producer standpoint, where they can be like, oh, that film camera has a screen on it where you can plug in a monitor and everybody can look at the screen. And it's new and it is fancy. So we should get one of those for our shoot. But yeah, and I guess it also means, in a kind of general sense, that there are people within Kodak who are very passionate about Super 8, even if the project is not materializing in a way that really speaks to like a general audience of people that are shooting Super 8. But I'm like, well, it means that they're not going to like pull the plug on Super 8 film, like abruptly, like a year from now, at least. So that's something. But I have used it. I used it 3 years ago, so I that's why I've kind of held off on really like going into it, because I'm like, well, I don't know, to their benefit. Like, to be fair to them, I don't know, if subtle things have changed and things like that. But it seems very similar to the one that I used 3 years ago from all the literature and like the imagery and stuff that I've seen. So it is an interesting and somewhat awkward design of a camera. And I was very surprised about the price point. When I saw the price point. So I have no real defense for that, but I'm sure realistically people working on that project were I'm sure there were people who are like not happy that it was priced at that much, and I'm sure that there are people who are like, obviously we know that we're pricing it not for like a general kind of consumer and stuff, which is why if you go to their website and you're like, you sign up for the link for the to buy the camera or whatever it is, you have to go through and you're just like, what are you interested in the camera for? Who are you? Are you a filmmaker? When would you like to buy the camera? Within 6 months, next year, 2025? Like, they're trying to gauge. It feels like, it's kind of like a pre-order we're trying to gauge interest in this project and stuff. So this is not me telling people to be like, you should definitely support this because it means maybe we'll get more. But I do think that like the film is going to be around for a while, which is good. And this is something, but I don't necessarily think that Kodak are the people themselves to you know, pursue like a project entirely on their own like that would be for kind of like the more consumer audience, because Kodak is like, they make the film, that's amazing, you made this camera, obviously there's like a passion project of whoever is on this team to make this camera, also pretty cool, you know, it's going to go to some people who are going to, you know, be really interested in it. But it's like, you know, it's like with Polaroid. No, you know what? It's like Fuji in the Instax stuff, because like Fuji has their cameras and, you know, they're all decent, you know, just like standard lineup for like the square and the wide and the mini. But it is companies outside of Fuji themselves that are making the most out of the Instax as a format, right? Like Lomography has their Instax cameras. There are, you know, there's a huge amount of people in the world who are like 3D printing really cool accessories and like film backs. There are people who are putting out like really well made like film backs for like Hasselblads and things like that that are taking advantage of like Instax. So, you know, like the Super 8 camera from Kodak is what it is, and like for like probably good and bad in, you know, depending on how you're looking at it and like who you are and like what your, you know, goal is if you're looking to buy one. But like if there was some way that some company themselves, like somebody outside of Kodak could be like, well, we can like, we know what like, you know, independent filmmakers want and like artists and like people who like really love this format, and like what if we could make something aimed at them. But it is very, very hard to pursue like manufacturing a motion picture camera for film, and I will defend Kodak in the way where I've seen a lot of posts of people being like, you could just 3D print a Super 8 camera. No you can't. No you can't. No you can't. That even on like that scale of like Super 8 being like an amateur kind of motion picture format, the movements and the components for like that kind of camera shooting that kind of format in any sort of like quality kind of consistent way is very, very difficult. And nobody has made a Super 8 camera in decades. The 80s, I think, you know, I don't think people were making Super 8 cameras into the 90s. I
don't know.
So yeah, it is just like, it's a very difficult project, and I think maybe there is for the Kodak thing, because it took like what 8 years to maybe come out in the next few months. I think probably there is the realization of like, oh, this was a very big undertaking, and we've put so much into this that like there will be some interest out there, and like some people will buy the Kodak Super 8 camera, and other people will, you know, just go after quality vintage ones that have been around for a long time. So just different audiences, and it's like a weird topic because yeah, it's a $6,000 Super 8 camera.
It's nuts. Absolutely crazy. It'd be so much fun to try out.
You can buy like 2 Hasselblads for that.
Right. I mean, heck, you can go buy a red digital camera, like a cinema. You could walk onto a movie set for a red camera. You can pick up that Komodo. Yeah, the Komodo.
Yeah,
like $5,000.
Or like, or you could get into like 16 millimeter.
That
you know,
too.
like you could buy like something quite nice. But again, it's like it's whoever it's for is who it's for.
Yeah, it's still cool that something like that still has a home in the 2023. Someone wants it.
I'm sorry, I went so hard into the Super 8 camera thing.
No, it's really good because literally the majority of the questions were asking about that. There was one person asking about your thoughts on One Instant, but we kind of already talked about that already. So There you go. So rapid fire, what is your go-to camera?
I have a Canon AT1 35 millimeter SLR that was a graduation gift, and that is the
Nice.
one that I usually have. And so this year, the last couple of years, I've tried to slowly round out the lenses that I have for that, because it takes Canon FD lenses, which is, there's like so many things for that over the years. And I just got an 85 millimeter for it over the summer that I love. And that is usually what I shoot most stuff in.
Nice. What is your favorite film type to shoot?
That's a good
Or
question.
format. Maybe format.
I really format.
Okay.
God, that's also a hard question. I really like for 35. I really like FP4 because I have been experimenting with black and white reversal developing for like slides, and FP4, if you do it right, like reverses beautifully, like beautiful looking positives. And Kodak Double X, which is motion picture stuff, but I have so many friends who are bulk loading that and just shooting it as stills, and it's really nice. You shoot Double X at like 400 and like push it one stop in development. Really like a really great looking film.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm into. That's what I'm into at the moment.
That's
And I guess Harmon the Phoenix, the new Phoenix film. I've been shooting a couple rolls of that, and it is very wild. I don't love it, but it's kind of just like cool. I'm getting a kick out of it, and that's the video that I'm working on right now, kind of.
Right. If somebody was interested in getting themselves started in the film world, where would you send them? To a camera, film type?
I would say like really like I urge people to like try and fall in love with shooting black and white film, because it just strips away a lot of like color, like worrying about color and the price of shooting color, and labs, and like what are my scans, does the color of my scans look good, I should be scanning at home, I need to invest in home scanning stuff, and blah blah blah, and just like just shoot black and white, because it like obviously scanning and quality of images and stuff is still part of black and white, but it removes a lot of that extra kind of like thought and strips it down to being like, well, learn to shoot, like just capture really well, like technically well exposed images on film. It's cheaper. You can get cheap black and white that is still fine and is still film and is still a very valid way of getting into film. And you can shoot it in a camera that you just found somewhere, and it won't cost you $1 million. Black and white is like the best way to kind of like get into film photography.
Last one. Here we go. Probably the most important one. How often do you get mistaken from that guy from Tropic Thunder? Jay.
Which guy? Ben Stiller?
No. Jay something. I can't remember his name.
Jay Baruchel.
Yes.
Who is, that is funny. I never think of him as being from Tropic Thunder. Because he's in
so many other
he's in so many things, but that's funny. I used to get that on the YouTube videos all the time.
I was probably one of them. I'm like, I had to go look him up. I'm like, does he have a YouTube channel? Like, it's not that guy.
I'm not sure I've ever gotten it in real life before, but I used to get Jay Baruchel all the time. He's also Canadian, so that's fun. But it's funny because I would I worked at a camera store with my friend Alex, who's been in some videos over the years here and there. And then we also had a friend Pierre, and depending on our beer growth and like hair length at certain times, we would look similar enough that after I started the channel, Pierre, who was still working at the store in like a very like customer facing like position, he would get people who would come in and be like, I love your YouTube channel. And Pierre's like, I'm clearly not you. I don't sound at all like Noah. And Alex has gotten it too. Like Alex has had people come up to him like on the street and be like, I love your YouTube channel. And Alex is like, no, I've been in some videos, but I'm not who you're thinking of. I don't know. It's the importance of like sharing your knowledge within these communities and stuff, because a lot of this, the further out you go and the more niche you get for like working with film and working with these mediums and like, trying to understand how certain things were done, or like how, learning certain skills and stuff. A lot of this stuff lives in the, just like trapped in the minds of like older generations of people who just like have moved away from it and stuff, and who aren't around to share this knowledge, or for whatever reason really just like don't want to share it, or begrudgingly like
It's weird.
share it in a way that is very hard to like understand. So yeah, that's kind of what like a lot of this has been. And this year is weird. Like I felt kind of like a little bit of a disconnect with the videos in the channel this year, because balancing it out with work has been like a lot of just like energy, and it's difficult. And I'm kind of like, well, what is the seed of like the videos and the channel, and like why am I doing this and stuff? And sometimes I feel like I get trapped in like a cycle of somebody will like reach out and like offer something to me or whatever, and a lot of the times it's like stuff that I am really interested in. Like I just did a video on like some negative supply, like scanning stuff, and I was like, I legitimately like this stuff and did want to look at it and whatever, but I'm also like a part of me feels like, oh, this is a video that I like have to do now,
Right.
As opposed to being like one that just comes out of my brain of being like, oh, I really want to sit down and like try to do this thing and turn that into a video. So I'm like just having a balance within like even my own work of being like, yeah, I'll say yes to like people reaching out for stuff, or like, doing something that is maybe like a little more popular at the time, just to be like, yeah, that is still worth doing. But I'm like, it's still important to hold on to just like doing videos just for the hell of doing videos, just because I'm like, yeah, I can sit down and like to shoot this 4x5 thing and do whatever with it, and like just like document that and like go through what's happening with it, because like that's like why I want to do this.
Yeah. So I mean, I've been kind of doing like more like these podcasts lately, and live streams, because they still help the algorithm out and the channel. Even if I don't have time to make a video, I can just do a live stream for an hour and it counts. And it's also a great way to interact with the audience. They normally wouldn't be able to. So that's something to think about. Have you ever done a live stream?
Yeah. No, I haven't. I've been thinking for a long time about just like, I need some little, like just different things to kind of break up just doing like the standard videos and stuff. But I don't know. I'm just like, I'm worried that I would do a live stream and it would just be the worst.
So I don't know how, you probably don't know this, but my background is live streaming. I'm kind of known for it. I was on one of the channels, one of my clients / partners, long story, but they're called Live Streaming Pros. It's right there in the name. I travel around. So like when I was out in Toronto, I was there for work. I was building a production studio for recording as well as for live streaming for Stu McLaren. I don't know if probably don't know who he is, but he's entrepreneur. He built Tribe. I don't know if you've ever heard of that before. That phrase, Tribe, came from that guy.
No, I don't.
He's a smart guy. But yeah, so I built a production studio for him out there, and so I've done lots of those. And one of the things that we teach people when it comes to live streaming is when you hit the button and go live, don't really worry about the audience that's watching right there in the moment. You worry about the person that's going to be watching the replay later on. So you kind of treat it like it's its own video, like have a topic kind of lined up, ready to go. Like in my live streams, I have a topic that's kind of the main title of the video. Like I did one the other day, like, let's talk about the Polaroid Go. That's like the topic, right? And so that's like the first 10 minutes. And after that, people are just dropping questions, they're commenting, and they kind of end up taking over, the rest of the stream. But the person that's watching it later still has something that's structured and some concise to
to get them into
do.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't really worry about the audience showing up right away. But you've been doing this a long time. They'll be there.
Yeah.
You schedule it, they'll be there. Trust me.
Yeah.
If you ever need help with it, just reach out. Let me know. I can get you going with whatever you need.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really should. I think I've been taking the time the last little bit to kind of think about like what is next year, like if I've been doing this for 5 years, like what is the drive to continue on, or like what are little different things that I can do and stuff. And even like what is work that I can do outside of the channel that is like just for me, or for like, different kind of stuff that, kind of makes returning to the channel and like doing the videos and stuff like worthwhile and still feels good. But yeah, it's crazy. I'm drowning in film stuff. My apartment is getting to a point where I'm like, oh, okay, I might need to do a little bit of a clean out on certain stuff. What are you shooting over the holidays stuff? You got anything loaded up, Polaroids and stuff?
Oh yeah. So as far as like videos or for just like photography?
Both. Let's say both.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for video wise, I've got like one, it's kind of my annual, like, I guess, so quote unquote Christmas type episode. It's pretty lax, but I give away something every year.
Fun. Yeah.
I usually pick a friend, and I have my world famous Chris's Knick-Knack Shack buckets, and I've got this like graphic on there and everything. But I usually fill it with this weird, crazy stuff, and there's always something like the main actual thing. And I always give away a camera. So I have a Barbie camera that I'm going to be sending out to a friend. And then in that video, it's like I'm always just showing off the stuff that I'm giving away. And then it's also a 2-part type deal in the same video where I kind of talk about the year, the goals for the following year, and things like that. It's kind of like because it comes out around Christmas, people are busy. It's not like a major performing video, but I still like to have something out around that time. So it's more of just like for the real fans, the real people to see what I'm up to and what's going on. This year was crazy for me, so this is gonna be an interesting little conversation that I'm gonna have in this one.
That's good.
But well, yes and no, good and bad. I should say.
Okay.
But as far as like shooting stuff, I don't. I want to start a series on using a camera for an entire week, and it's only that one camera. So I was going to start with like the Polaroid Go, I think, where it's like only for 1 week I can only use this camera, and I think it'd be a really fun way to like put like, because how do I explain it? So like that camera, everyone complains about it, like, oh, it's so small, you can't do these things with it. So it's usually like you'll figure out, hopefully I'll be able to figure out the strengths and use it in different ways that I wouldn't have normally used it or given it the time of day. Because I really haven't used that camera that much, just because of, hey, it's kind of small. And then the next time I'll pick a different camera and use it for only 1 week. I think it'd be a fun little series. And I probably will start that towards the end of this month. So that's
fun. That's really fun. Yeah.
That's kind of what I got cooking up. What about you?
Yeah, I'm putting stuff together for a video on the Phoenix, the Harman, the new color film from them, because that's like, it's cool. And I love that they were doing kind of like meet and greet kind of stuff, in Canada and the US and different places. And I was like, they're actually like, they're engaging with the community, and that's just like really good, because you just don't see, you don't see like Kodak really doing that kind of thing. You'll never see Fuji doing that on like the film focus side of things and things like that.
Even instant.
Yeah, even Instax, I'm just like, I guess they're like, Instax sells itself. Why would we
pretty much
go anywhere to talk about it? That, and then I don't know. I was kicking around some ideas of just doing some weird motion picture, thing, something. I've got like a couple ideas and stuff, but I picked up for the first time in forever. I picked up some color 600, some I-type stuff, and I'll probably just shoot that for fun over the holidays.
Nice. What's your go-to Polaroid camera?
So I just got again from the generosity, like the sheer generosity of somebody. Do you know the like the SX70, like the SX70R, like Revolution thing? Do you know what I'm talking about? It's like
R.
a man, let me. It's like
Yeah.
right here. Give me like
Yeah.
three. Oh no, wait, it's right behind the computer.
Nice.
Oh,
And now it's
where is
broken.
that? Yeah. No, it's like it's
Oh,
this.
yeah. Literally
Yeah,
yesterday. Literally yesterday. Live stream with Dennis from Chromatic Parts. We were
I
talking
saw
about
that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I saw some of that one. But yeah,
Nice.
so I that and then the like the modified SX70 for it. So I'm probably gonna play around with that because I had some old black and white kicking around that
Mhm.
wasn't in like great shape, but it was enough for me to be like, all right, how does this turn on? How does this work and stuff? So
There you
that's
go.
why I picked up some color film. So yeah, and that'll probably be a video. I'm sure that definitely should be a video.
Absolutely. Now,
But it's also like I'm like I just want to shoot some of the Polaroid stuff. It's been a little while since I've like picked up a normal like a 600 pack
Yeah.
or whatever.
yeah. So I saw that was I-Type. Do you have? Is the SX70 modified to take it?
Yes, it has also the retrospect like unit on the bottom.
Yeah.
So yeah, this one is pretty modded out. This has been done by the instant camera guy.
Oh.
Who is from the UK, I believe.
No,
I think
he's
his name
out.
is
He's
Jake.
he's in Australia.
Australia. Yes.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Right. Yeah. Same thing. Exactly. AU. Not,
Whoops.
yeah. So,
But yeah, he has a lot of really great like in-depth stuff on his Facebook, right? Like
yeah, he's a Facebook guy.
video.
Yeah, he's a Facebook guy from what I've seen. Dennis, he's in the UK. He's the one out there.
Maybe that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Where's the guy who does the power bar? Like
that's
the
Dennis.
power bar?
Yeah, that's Dennis, and he's
Dennis?
that's in
Okay.
He's near London-ish. The
Yes.
power bar is really cool. I actually really love that thing.
Yeah.
And with that mod that you have on there with that the little dongle controller, if you get Dennis's modified camera, which is the changes out the PCB board on the SX70, it adds Bluetooth. So that connector is wireless.
Yeah, this is what has been done to this one. So it is.
So you could still use So you could get an SX70 and get the power bar, and then eliminate that bottom chunk for all that power, which is, I feel, kind of annoying to have.
Yeah, it's a fun kind of chunky piece, but yeah. But yeah, this is awesome. It's very like it's unbelievably cool as like a remote where you can just be like, all right.
Yeah. I haven't even used mine. He just sent it to me.
Yeah.
And I got it like 3 days ago, I think it showed up. So I haven't even had a chance to try it out yet, but I'm really excited.
No, this showed up from somebody, and I was initially like, "What the hell am I looking at?
Really?
What is?" But the last week I was going through it, and I was like, "This is sick," and yeah, I follow Chromatic Parts on Instagram as well.
He blew up like overnight. Him and I have been working together for the last year. And he's like, he contacts me and it's like, dude, thank you so much, man. You really put me on the map. I'm like, no, you put yourself on the map for what you're doing.
Yeah.
I just gave you, I guess, a platform to speak, but you've done this. This is you. Yeah. This is your accomplishment.
That's awesome.
But recently he just did a video, which I'm a little mad. Not really, but like, I'm a little mad at myself because I'm like, I have this video idea. I need to do this week. And then I didn't do it. And then the following week, out of just pure happenstance, Dennis does it. And now, and then it's sitting at like, I don't know, 2 or 3 million views on Instagram. And even Polaroid themselves decided to share it, and they never do that stuff. And it took his followers from like 2,000 to like 40,000 followers like overnight. I'm like super happy for him, but at the same time I'm like so pissed off at myself because I didn't do it. I was like, no. So
that's great.
But yeah, no, Dennis is phenomenal. He deserves everything that's coming his way. He's such a nice guy.
That's sick.
Yeah, and his work,
awesome.
His work that he does, top notch.
Yeah.
But that's cool.
Yeah,
I'm glad
excited.
you got that. I have a unique opportunity for a next guest to come on to the podcast. Hopefully I'll be like, what's it called? What's that word? Manifest. Maybe I'll manifest this to happen. But next month in mid-January, at Portland Comic-Con or a Comic-Con, the one and only Jason Lee will be at the convention center. For all you that don't know who he is, that's for me. If anyone's ever seen an intro to my videos, it is a rip off of My Name Is Earl, and Jason Lee plays My Name Is Earl. But more importantly, Jason Lee is a massive film photographer. He just opened a camera store in LA. And
did he? That's really cool.
Eagle Rock Film, I think, and he also owns a skate company too, which I think is pretty cool.
That I also knew. Yes.
Yeah, he's an old.
I know him from Kevin Smith movies.
Yes. Mallrats.
From Mallrats.
I know him as Earl. From My Name Is Earl.
I only ever saw a little bit of My Name Is Earl when it was like on when I was growing up.
It's so good. I love it. But he's gonna be there. I'm gonna meet him. And I'm gonna walk up with an SX70 dangling around my neck, and just be like, spark that little conversation and see about how do I approach him for a podcast interview, because he doesn't do that stuff very often at all. I think Matt Day got him on for a podcast, if I remember right, years ago.
Okay.
And then I think I'm pretty sure it was Matt Day. And then he's done one podcast with Escape people, and that's it. Yeah, that's all I've ever seen. He doesn't allow messages on Instagram. He's very locked down. So I'm hoping. Yeah. I'm hoping. Because he's literally at the top of the list to get him on my channel to talk to him about. He's been one of the gets. Just because we actually have interest. It'd be a real actual, reason. Not just like, hey, I'm a big fan. I stole your show's intro for my YouTube videos. So let's manifest that. See what happens. Either way, I'll meet him.
That'll still be cool. But yeah, I knew he was a really big film guy as well, which is cool.
Yeah, he had just came out with a book, short run. All of his are always like, here's 100 of them. They're signed and they're expensive. Yeah, and they're gone within 2 minutes. I don't have one.
But yeah, this was a lot of fun, and I really should be doing more kind of stuff like this anyways, just because I'm like, it's a very interesting and very widespread community for not just people talking about and going through this medium and these formats on YouTube, but also the people where I'm like, oh, I know this person because I follow them on Instagram, I recognize the icon in their profile picture, and that's but yeah, so this has been great, and thanks for reaching out to me for doing this stuff.
Yeah, dude. Next time in Toronto, I'll have to actually reach out. And
give me a shout.
Give you a shout. Where can we find you across the interwebs? Not that people don't already know, but where can we find you?
Analog Resurgence is on YouTube, and it is spelled correctly right below me. It's spelled analog only with a O. Some people spell it with an E or whatever, or what am I saying? With a U, whatever. Sometimes people spell it differently. That's how I spelled it. Analog Resurgence, and then my Instagram is just Noah Hender 2000. Not because I was born in the year 2000, but because I come from the era of time where it was super cool to put 2000 at the end of things in naming. But yeah, that is NOAHENDER 2000 for Instagram.
There'll be links in the description to go and follow Noah. Not that you already aren't. Come on. You're old. I won't say you're old, but you're one of the OGs of the film community here on YouTube for sure.
That's funny as well, even because I'm like, there are so many people popped up in the last few years now that are doing Super 8 or doing 16 and doing developing and stuff, and I'm like, obviously there are people who've been around for much longer than I have and everything, but I'm like, it's interesting just to see new people in different niches, you know, like the smaller categories. Like there's Super 8 stuff. People are shooting Super 8 more now than I remember seeing when I started like 5 years ago. So that's really cool.
That's what we want. We want more people in this. Want to stick around. So we'll have to have you back on. Maybe we'll have you back on for like a live stream in the future or something. Or something. Check in and see what you've been up to. But in the meantime, thank you so much for coming on, and have a great rest of your day, man.
Thanks so much.
Wow, that was such a really, really fun episode. Loved chatting with Jay, Noah. It was really, really cool. Loved picking his brain about photography, motion picture stuff, going behind the scenes with some of like how movies are even made. I love talking about that stuff. If you guys haven't checked out the ILM like little short documentary series on Disney Plus, not a sponsor, but definitely check it out. It is super, super interesting. I still got to finish those last 2 episodes, honestly. We're definitely going to have Noah back on, because if he does get his hands on that Kodak Super 8 camera once again, I want to pick his brain more about that. That'd be really, really, really cool to talk about. Oh, and don't forget, there is an extended version of this podcast in video form too on Patreon over in the members area. There's a link in the description below if you want to check that out. Of course, there's lots of other things and perks that you can get by being a member. My favorite is the Zoom calls. Honestly, it's so much fun. Face to face, we get to chat. But thank you so much for watching and listening, and I'll see you in the next episode. Now, get out there, make some art.